When I visited Mexico City 20 years ago, my favourite street food was this delicious little crumbed fish taco. It was so sublime, I would eat it almost daily. Sadly, when I cut gluten out of my diet, I had to say goodbye to those tacos because they're often coated in panko crumbs, which are a definite no-no if you are gluten-free. But the good news is I can now recreate these at home using a crispy gluten-free cornflake crumb. Before we get onto our fish crumb, I'm going to make an avocado crema because we need a creamy element to go with our fish. And we start by scooping out the flesh of the avocado, goes straight into our food processor. We're going to get all the creaminess we need just from these avocados. A lot of people that are gluten-free also follow a dairy-free diet, so this recipe caters to both. And this crema will keep in the fridge for a few days, so if you want to make it a few days ahead, that's totally fine. To this, we add some extra virgin olive oil, the best quality olive oil you can buy. And for some flavouring, 1 clove of crushed garlic. That goes straight in. And for acidity, I'm chopping up some limes. Now, I love lime in this crema, but if you wanted to use lemon, that's totally fine. I want a real acidic punch in that crema. It lifts the dish. Straight in. Okay, there we go. Now we need a handful of coriander leaves. Coriander and lime are synonymous with Mexican cooking. And for our seasoning, a pinch of sea salt flakes, straight in, and some cracked pepper. And now we're going to blitz it until it's nice and creamy. Our crema is done. You'd think it's loaded with dairy, but it doesn't have a single drop of dairy in it. We're just going to spoon that into our serving bowl. Straight in that goes. Look at how thick, creamy, and luscious that is. Okay. So, we need a crunchy element. We have our creamy element, we need a crunchy element because tacos are all about texture. Shredded slaw, about 3 cups of white cabbage here, and to this we're going to add some tomatoes. I like to cut my tomatoes into quarters because I want bite-sized pieces. You want to get a little bit of each ingredient when you're biting into that taco, so you don't want anything that's too chunky. Straight in they go. We've got lots of vibrant colours in our bowl. Mexican cooking is all about colour, texture and flavour. And this taco certainly delivers on all 3 fronts. Okay, now for some acidity, some lime juice. Very popular in Mexican cooking. Squeeze that straight in. And we need a vibrant green herb here, coriander. Just a handful. We're just going to roughly chop that. Go straight in. And for seasoning, a pinch of salt. And some cracked pepper. I'm going to give this a gentle toss using my hands. I'm going to continue tossing this salad and then clean up so we can set up for our crumbing station. Now let's get crumbing. We're using a gluten-free cornflake for our crumb. It's going to add great crispiness to the crumb texture and it also adds a fibre boost. So that goes straight into the food processor. And for flavouring, we add some paprika. This adds some heat to the crumbing mixture. You can use a smoked or a sweet paprika, either is fine. And for some extra heat, some white pepper. And to finish, a pinch of sea salt flakes. Now I'm going to blitz this to form a coarse crumb. I still want a little bit of texture in my crumb. It doesn't need to be too fine. Okay, our crumb is ready. Let me show you the texture of it. See how it's still a little bit coarse? We want that so that we get a nice textural bite when we're eating our taco. That's going to go straight into our crumbing bowl. So this will be our final crumbing step. Next, we need to whisk our mustard eggy mixture. So into a bowl, we whisk 2 cracked eggs with some Dijon mustard. Now the Dijon mustard is my little secret. It adds some extra flavour to our crumb coating and gives our tacos a really beautiful flavour. Just whisk that lightly. It's good to have all your bowls ready to go so that once you get crumbing, you can just go from one bowl directly into the other. Okay, there's our eggs done. Now let's get crumbing. I'm using flathead today because it's a beautiful, delicate white fish, but you can use any fish of your choice. I've cut them about 10 centimetres long so they fit nicely into our taco. So to start, we dip in our tapioca flour. This is probably the most versatile gluten-free flour you'll find in my pantry because it can be used for crumbing like this, but it's also got great thickening properties, so you can use it in sauces as well. Next, we go into our eggy mustard. Now that flour that we've put on in the first stage is going to form a glue and it helps the crumb stick to the fish. So dip it in nicely, drip off the excess and then straight into our crumb. So we press that crumb nice and firmly so that it covers the fish evenly. Now I'm going to continue crumbing my fish and then we're going to fry them off for 2 minutes on each side until they're nice golden and crispy. I'll also heat my tortillas and clean up this station so we can get ready to serve. Our Mexican fiesta has hit the table, so to start, a warm tortilla. And I always start with my avocado crema on the base, vibrant and green. And to sit on our crema, a deliciously crispy crumbed piece of flathead fish. And for some crunch, our slaw. That looks absolutely delicious. I can't wait to tuck in, but I'm going to add another squeeze of lime juice because I like my taco extra zesty. Ooh, it's going to be quite a mouthful. Taco Tuesday just got a whole lot fancier.